come apart.
Is there any tag team in the ECW bad enough to face the Headhunters? I don't think so. I don't think so. And if there is, bring it on. My boy, bring it on.
I got a little tag team back here, Davey and Owen. They didn't get to the WWF in time to make the tournament, but would you guys like to see how bad they are? Huh? I believe we can arrange it.
Oh my goodness. Good Lord Almighty.
Wrestling history is littered with oddities, gimmicks that went nowhere, debuts that fizzled, and tag teams that seemed destined for disaster the moment they stepped through the curtain. But even in a world where the Ding Dongs, Mantar, and the Shockmaster once roamed, few acts fell apart as spectacularly as the team known as the Headhunters. Internationally, the massive twin brothers had earned a reputation as cult favorites, bruisers who could somehow combine their enormous size with high-risk moves like moonsaults. They were staples in Japan, Puerto Rico, and even popped up in ECW, where their chaotic brawling style fit right in. On paper, the WWF should have been their chance to shine in front of the largest wrestling audience in the world. Instead, what fans got was one of the most laughably bad introductions in company history. From a botched Royal Rumble gimmick to a tag team debut, so poorly executed it was immediately abandoned. The Headhunters' time in WWF wasn't just short, it was a cautionary tale in how to completely waste a promising act. Before stepping into the squared circle, twins Victor and Manuel Santiago were born on August 11, 1968, in New York City. Not much is widely documented about their early lives, but it's clear that their imposing physical stature made them natural candidates for professional wrestling. From a young age, they demonstrated the strength and athleticism that would later define their careers. The twins were trained under wrestler and trainer Johnny Rodz in New York. Rodz, who also trained stars like Tommy Dreamer and Taz, gave the brothers a strong foundation. The twins debuted professionally in 1987 in Puerto Rico, immediately standing out for their size, power, and eerie synchronicity as a team. Matches often featured blood-soaked brawls, weapons, and high-risk maneuvers, all hallmarks of Puerto Rican wrestling at the time. Their reputation grew even more in Japan, where they competed in hardcore promotions like Wing and IWA Japan in the early 1990s. In these deathmatch environments, the twins' violent, chaotic style fit perfectly. In August 1992, the twins reached a career milestone when they were crowned the first ever Wing International New Generation World Tag Team Champions, a belt created specifically to highlight the kind of tag team carnage the promotion thrived on. Their reign cemented them as one of Wing's defining acts, helping to draw attention to the promotion during its rise in the early 90s. While never technical juggernauts, the Headhunters became synonymous with sheer violence, blending massive power moves with aerial spots that no one their size should have been able to pull off. Their notoriety in Japan made them cult icons among hardcore wrestling fans worldwide. The twins first broke into the US hardcore scene in 1993 under the banner of Eastern Championship Wrestling, before the company's rise to Extreme. Their debut came in August when they entered a tournament for the ECW tag team titles. They squared off against Ivan and Vladimir Koloff, but the match ended in a double disqualification, a messy start, indicative of their early US presentation. Violent, chaotic, and only just glimpsed. Less than a month later, at Ultra Clash on September 18th, they managed to pull off a win, defeating Miguelito Perez and Crash the Terminator in a baseball bat match. Though still a wild, weapon-heavy affair, this victory helped establish their reputation among American hardcore fans, showing that they could deliver spectacle, if not consistent domination. The Headhunters would continue traveling around the globe trying to find success in the big time, stopping through the dying embers of the NWA, the lucha rings of Mexico, and once again, the the blood-soaked arenas of Japan. After years of international blood, sweat, and barbed wire, they finally got their chance to shine in front of millions with a call from the World Wrestling Federation to debut at one of the company's biggest pay-per-views. Sadly, it went as bad as possible. The Headhunters' so-called big break in the United States came in 1996 at the WWF's Royal Rumble, but instead of a launch pad, it became the graveyard of their mainstream hopes. A crowded battle royal is rarely the place to showcase an aerial arsenal, and this Rumble was no exception. The match itself was already light on star power. Fans had sat through surprise entrants like a 54-year-old Dory Funk Jr. before the 15th entrant made his way to the ring. When one of the Headhunters walked through the curtain, the audience had no idea who he was. WWF hadn't bothered to introduce the team in advance, and the commentary team only called him a member of the SWAT team, a name that meant nothing to fans because the duo had never appeared on WWF television before. He waddled down the aisle, threw a few tentative shots at Yokozuna and Bob Holly, and then made the mistake of squaring up with Vader. Within moments, Vader crushed him with clubbing blows, and tossed him over the top rope like yesterday's trash. His official time in the match, 1 minute and 11 seconds. The timing for the second twins' entrance couldn't have been more humiliating. He came out just as his brother was being eliminated. The two identical giants walked to the ring together, and since referees couldn't tell them apart, they just shrugged and let both in. Technically, there was a way to tell them apart. Squatter number 2 wore the slightly less revealing singlet, and more importantly, he wasn't completely winded. But nobody cared enough to notice. Within 30 seconds, Vader and Yokozuna had eliminated both brothers, sending the SWAT team back to obscurity. The Headhunters' debut as the SWAT team at the 1996 Royal Rumble was already a disaster, but the follow-up somehow made things worse. In early 1997, after Shawn Michaels forfeited the tag team titles, a tournament was held to crown new champions. During the semifinals, Owen Hart and the British Bulldog defeated the Headbangers, only for Jim Cornette to announce afterward that his new team, the SWAT team, hadn't arrived in time for the tournament, but he wanted to show his old clients, quote, how bad they are. The twins waddled out again, and any aura they might have carried from their years of international dominance evaporated instantly. Davey Boy Smith picked up one of the supposed 400-pound monsters and slammed him with ease. Not exactly the best way to present a new team whose entire gimmick was their size. After Bulldog bailed, the visibly gassed SWAT team was left with Mosh and Thrasher, and things somehow got uglier. One of the twins attempted a top rope move, only to land awkwardly on his feet, nearly injuring himself in the process. Cornette had to bail out his new team by distracting the Headbangers so the twins could finally do something impactful. At long last, one of them managed to hit a moonsault, their trademark move, before pausing to hike up his pants in front of the crowd. Cornette then whistled for them to retreat, but the moment was punctuated by a fan yelling, "This is stupid." It has been rumored that the team was supposed to be renamed the Arabian Butchers, but after the disastrous television debut, they only made one more appearance for the company in a dark match. The SWAT team was never mentioned again on WWF programming, leaving fans to wonder if they had imagined the entire fiasco. The WWF may have embarrassed them, but the Headhunters didn't vanish. Far from it. Once their blink-and-you-miss-it run in Stamford ended, the twins went back to doing what they always did best: globe-trotting chaos. They returned to Japan, where their reputation in deathmatch circles was still intact. They wrestled for IWA Japan and FMW, continuing to carve out their place in the hardcore niche. In Mexico, they worked for promotions like AAA and CMLL, where their size made them natural monsters against smaller luchadors. Their matches weren't always pretty, but a double moonsault from two 300-plus pounders will turn heads anywhere. They even circled back to the US Indies, making appearances in smaller promotions and proving that even if WWF had no clue how to use them, promoters who leaned into their strengths, violence, chaos, and spectacle, could still get plenty of mileage out of the Santiago Twins. By the late 90s and early 2000s, the Headhunters had become journeyman monsters, never household names, but always lurking in the blood and guts corners of the wrestling world. Despite the WWF fiasco, the Headhunters remain cult legends. In Japan, Puerto Rico, and ECW, they were feared, respected, and celebrated for their chaotic brawling and surprising athleticism. Their story is a testament to both the heights a team can reach when booked properly, and the depths they can fall to when mismanaged. The Headhunters were monsters of the ring, dominant, daring, and unforgettable. Even if the largest wrestling stage never knew how to handle them. They weren't pretty, they weren't polished, and in WWF, they weren't even taken seriously. But to hardcore fans around the world, the Headhunters were exactly what wrestling promised at its most extreme: dangerous, unpredictable, and impossible to ignore.